Hi everyone and welcome to Drum Education Live, episode 30.
Can you believe it? Amazing.
Wow.
30.
No, this started off as a little thing.
A little thing, and now this little thing.
Today we have CAMi with us. You might have seen CAMi on Facebook, Instagram. She is incredible.
Playing with her son.
So this I think is how I might have heard of you first. I might have seen a video first, I don't know, but you messaged me because I was pregnant playing drums. You were pregnant at the time playing drums, and you were like, yes, there are other women pregnant who are playing. Thank goodness. And I just thought that was awesome. And I've just really enjoyed all of your videos and just following your beautiful journey with your family and seeing how you're just thriving in this situation. It's awesome. I'd just like to hear about how you got into drumming in the first place. How old were you? And just a bit about your background.
I was 5 years old when I first heard the drums, and I had never before that, like, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the instrument was. And I was sitting in church, and it's like one of my first memories. I was like, I saw my cousin, he was playing the drums, and I said to myself, I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that. So I, like, of course, as a 5-year-old, I went up to my mom and dad. I'm like, you guys need to get me a drum set. You know, they're like, you don't know how to play drums. I'm like, I know, but I will learn. So it took a little bit of time to convince them, but I was in all school music programs, and I was just really hungry to learn the instrument. So that was kind of my first interaction, was through church, hearing the drums when I was about 5, and then just being amazed by the sound, falling in love with the sound of the instrument, and then wanting to learn everything from there. So being in school music programs really helped me learn how to read music, like drumline stuff, rudiments, different styles, different genres of music. And that was kind of how I got my start. And after I graduated, or during high school, I started working with a guy named Miles Overton here in the US. He was in the Army Perching Zone, and he's kind of the one that just really helped me focus in on what I needed to learn as a drummer. Different styles, reading, like, he helped me with all of that stuff, mallet percussion, like things that most drummers don't really get into as far as like the percussion side. He was like, you need to know this stuff. You never know what situation you're going to be in. If you're in a concert situation, if you're in a jazz situation. So he really just opened up my mind. And after I graduated high school, I actually wound up auditioning for the Navy, US Navy band. And at 19, I was accepted in. Most people don't get in until they have at least like college, bachelor's, or at least a master's. So right out of high school, I was able to get in through the audition. So that's kind of a quick rundown of, how I got into it. But yeah.
That's great.
And are you still in the Navy band, or you already left, or how was it?
Yes, I left. I left in 2014, so I did about 6 years. So I joined I was about 19. I got out when about 25, 26, and then I was like, want to do, like, have a family. I want to keep playing music. My husband was actually also in the military band. He was a saxophone player. We met in Japan. We were both stationed over there. So that's where we met, actually. And we moved back to the States, got married. I got out of the military. He decided to stay in, decided to switch programs and become a pilot. So now he flies planes for the military instead of playing saxophone. So yes, to answer your question, I'm out now, and I'm just pursuing my civilian music career, and just working on my album, doing lots of things to try to push my creativity and inspire and motivate.
Cool. One question I always wanted to ask Kira, but I never had a chance. I'm gonna ask you. How do you juggle being a mother and a professional musician?
It's 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 a bit fun. I try to think of it as like the fun part of it, not like, oh, I don't have time to do it, or it's kind of just saying to myself, I have more than enough time to be able to accomplish everything I want to in the day. And that was really what I had to do, especially after my son was born. And it was like, it was different. You know, I just can't roll in my studio and play drums all morning. You know, I got a baby to take care of. So it's like, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I had to get in the mindset to be thankful for the tiniest thing that I accomplished for that day. If it was something that I wanted to do, like I wanted to record maybe a sample, if I got maybe a little bit of it done, I would say, I'm so happy that I was able to get this little bit done. And those little bit of steps in the direction every single day will equate to something really amazing. And that's kind of how I've been able to juggle it. I try not to get too down on myself and for when I don't accomplish something, or I just focus on the things that I do accomplish. Yeah. So that's how I've been able to juggle being a mom and being a musician. So
excellent.
That's awesome. What a great attitude, you know, because then you're like winning, aren't you? It's like, what have I achieved? What have I done? And that's doable. And I think that can be a real roadblock for a lot of women, maybe, is that it's possibly got to be an all or nothing situation. And I think when you have kids, it's not, you can't do that. You've got to just take what you can, take this little moment here and just be grateful for all of it and know that it is different. It's changed, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. You know, I wanted to ask you about your album. Has it all been recorded yet? Are you about to do it? I'd love to know a bit more about the process, especially, I mean, in the UK, we're having another lockdown, so I don't know how it is for you.
The process has been a bit tricky, especially kind of in the beginning of the year when I had this really big idea, this goal to create an album, and then 2 months into the year, you know, we had they shut down the entire world, and it was just like, okay, I could have gone about this 2 different ways. Like, I'm gonna stop working on it because they said that we're not gonna be able to do anything. But I was just like, you know what? I don't know how it's gonna happen, but this is going to happen. Whether I sit in my studio myself and produce something, and I've been sending stuff to friends that I've worked with in the military, musicians, and they've been helping me create, and we've been able to kind of put together a really pretty good outline of these songs for when we go to the studio. We can actually have a lot of stuff tracked and a good foundation, so we have a good idea of what we're going for, the sound. So that's what I've been able to do. Luckily, the studio that I plan to record at is not closed. And I remember calling them probably 4 or 5 months ago as I was getting closer to having my album, you know, completed. I was like, are you guys open? They're like, yeah, we're open. I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, oh, all right, well, I guess I can, like, you know, I guess I can. Because my goal is to have a really polished, professional, high quality sound. Like John Legend recorded at the studio that I'm going to record at on Saturday. So like the professionalism is there. Like I was like, I feel like if I can give it the best quality possible, go to the best people to make it sound the best that it possibly can. Because I'm really passionate about the message and the music. So yeah, I'm really excited about the album. It's called I Choose Love, and I've kind of been like soul searching, you know, the past year, and really just going inward and really just focusing in on myself, focusing on being thankful and grateful, and just focusing on love and kindness and all these things that really just help me, like, wow, you know, why don't we have more of this? And it was like, you know what? it was because I was supposed to write these songs about it, you know? So I was like, okay, this is what I need to be doing. So I wrote several songs this year. I had never written a song prior to this year.
Wow.
And music just started flowing. Like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up, have a whole lyrical idea. And so I started trying to sing. I am not a singer. So, but I was on Facebook and I was just like, my album's coming out, just so confidently still saying it's coming out. It's going to be great. Like I had no idea how it was going to happen. But luckily my friend Sarah, she saw my message on my post on Facebook, and she is actually a singer. And she's like, hey, you need any help? Any blah, blah, blah. You need some help singing, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I thought she was like kidding. And I was like, oh, all right. But I winded up singing. I sent her some of my lyrics that I wrote. She sent them back to me, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, wow, this is going to be awesome. She's an amazing singer. And it was just really great. It was really great. So yeah, the process has been, like I said, it's been a little bit tricky to navigate. Like, for example, I had a bass player lined up who I went on tour with last year. We went on a world tour. She just called me and said she can't make the recording session on Saturday. Like she's tested positive for COVID. So it's just like, all right, what are we gonna do? I call the studio, I call a sound engineer. I'm like, this is what's going on. He's like, don't worry about it. I got you. But it's still me just trying to maintain that positive, like, okay, this happened, but are we going to focus on this, or are we going to try to like resolve it? Is it possible? Can we continue to move forward? So things are happening, and, it's just kind of the time, but I'm trying, and I am remaining as positive and motivated as possible. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And are you bringing your new kit there?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Have you seen this drum kit?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh man, it's gorgeous.
It's awesome. Actually, part of it is supposed to come today. So it's a 6-piece kit. There's 2 mounted toms, 2 floor toms, a snare, and a kick. And so I only have the 1 mounted tom, snare, kick, and 1 floor tom. So there's 2 pieces that are on the way coming today. But the story behind Tama, and it's kind of an interesting story. So my goal also in the beginning of the year was to become become an artist with a drum company, specifically Tama. And I was calling them every day. Calling Tama every single day. Hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I get no answer. Like, didn't get to talk to anyone. Like, every single day, probably for a month, I called them and with no response.
You left them a message?
Yes, I left messages, never actually got to talk to a physical person. I was on their Instagram messaging Tama like every single day. I love your stuff. I would love to work with you guys. No response. And so... But I just stayed really positive. I was just like, I had just bought a Tama kit, and I had it in my studio. And every time I passed by that kit, I would just say, I'm so happy to be an artist with them. Like it hasn't physically happened yet, but I'm saying it right now. I am so happy to be an artist. And I can see in my head, like I can see using a Tama kit in my recording session. And so like, as we're getting closer, and I'm like, well, I'm still happy. I'm thankful anyway. Next thing I know, I check my email, and my guy from Minol, my AR from Minol is like, hey, the guy from Tama asked me for your information. Is it okay if I pass it along? They're looking into sponsoring you, endorsing you. And I was like, like literally like for 6 months, I've been trying to talk to you. And here it is, like, boom. So I sent him an email. They emailed my guy at Minol, and they said, hey, can we pass along your information? And I was like, wow, sure. Like, this is what I've been, dreaming about for the past several months. Definitely, please send my information. So they send my information to Sam, is his name. And he emails me and he's like, we've seen your videos on YouTube. You did a review of the Club Jam Mini. I had to go back and watch the video because I didn't even remember what I said. And in the video, I said, "I'm waiting for Tama to call me." That's what I said.
Yes.
So for so many months, I had been calling them, and then I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna keep being thankful, and I'm gonna go about my business, and I'm waiting for them to call me. And I like went back and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know I said that. And that was one of the things he mentioned. He said, we saw your video demoing the Club Jam Mini, and we've seen your stuff on Instagram, and we're interested in working with you and you know, endorsing if you're interested. And I was like, and I took my phone over, because this was a video call we did. I took it over to my vision board. Like I have a vision board, and there is the Tama drum set. I'm like, you guys have been up here already. Like I've already been an artist with you guys for 7 months. You know, I was waiting for you guys to come, you know, come around. So it was really funny. But yeah, it was just kind of, you know, something that I had just been thinking about and believing would happen, despite the several calls and, you know, never hearing back. And so, yeah, it was a really cool experience. And so I got off the phone with him, and he's like, you know, he said, go on our website, pick anything you want, you know, anything you want. And I was just like, yeah, I'm just expecting, I'm like,
I would pick up a lot more than 6 drums.
Yeah.
what was that?
I was going to pick up a lot more than just 6 drums.
Yeah, so I went a little crazy, and I like just, you know, like I had to like watch YouTube videos, because I haven't played all these sets before, so I had to find out what they sounded like, how they would fit into my style, and all this stuff. So I probably spent a day and a half just kind of, you know, researching and trying to find what drums and stuff and hardware would fit my style. So I got my list together. I think I had 4 snares on there. I had like 4 different drum sets, lots of different hardware, a marching snare I put on there. So what he did was he took my list, and he's like, okay, this is what we can do, blah, blah, blah. And then he sent me back a list, and I was like, wow, that's still really great, you know? Like, so I was very happy, and they've been sending me stuff, been getting stuff out to me. And the one of the drum sets I'm getting is it's a Star, a Tama Star, which is like their highest level of kits they make, and it's going to take 6 months to make it. It's like being handmade. The wood's being handpicked in Africa. They're taking it back to Japan, and it's just going to be a crazy process apparently. So, but I had no idea that it was going to take that long. But I'm like, you know, it's their process. It's the artist, you know, making the, you know, amazing drums that they make. So, yeah.
Excellent. I would like to go back to your album and ask a double question. First, do you play other instruments, and how is the writing process? How do you write a song?
Okay, that's a great question. Because, you know, at the beginning of the year, when I said I was going to create an album, like I mentioned, I had never written an actual song with lyrics or anything. So I had to figure out this process. So I went and bought a Keylab, a Toria Keylab 49, something that I can just plug in MIDI essentially, and I would come up with melodies or bass lines first, or sometimes I would come up with lyrics. So if I come up with the lyrics first, sometimes the lyrics dictate the rhythm or the bass line. So when I was in the military, part of my training was 6 months of like music theory, ear training, and that little bit that I got, it kind of helped me be able to navigate the piano. So I can go pluck out a bass line, and I can, you know, pluck out a melody. And then if my lyrics are kind of in line with that, I'll create that. And then I would send that to my friend, Sarah, who actually sings. So Sarah would take it, actually sing on it, send it back to me, and then I can continue to develop the song, make it into like a structure or like a form. So that's kind of what we've been doing the past like 8 months. And before I really got in touch with her and she started helping me with singing stuff, it was kind of difficult because I still have to sing it. It sounds very bad, but I still have to sing it because I can't just send her lyrics and expect her to know how I want to phrase it. So I have to get on there and and she's like, okay, so she has to take it, and then I try to do my best to stay in, you know, it's been a process for sure, but
Cool.
it's gone very well. And she's the perfect person because I'll send her something. She's like, oh, I know what you're trying to do. Yeah, I got it. And I'm like, wow, that's great.
Nice.
I thought this was very bad. So, but that's kind of been the process, is sometimes writing lyrics, taking it, writing a bass line, writing a melody, and then of course the drum part, percussion is easy for me, and then we go from there. So initially I was trying to have a bass player help me with the bass lines, but I couldn't seem to get anyone to get so involved to the point where they would like want to be, hey, can you help me with this bass line? I got to attempt to play it. Or so I wind up just, I don't know, finding a way to be able to get the bass lines that I was thinking in my head out, and I was able to get the melodies that I was thinking of out. And then I have a guitar player here in Florida that I actually had come over for about 2 hours, and I was like, all right, this is what I want to play, because playing guitar on a keyboard is probably the hardest thing to recreate. So I was like, I want to play like and then he would be like, oh, okay, and then that's how I was able to kind of get some of the guitar stuff laid down. But the instrumentation is guitar, drums, vocals, and bass. So, and that was another thing I had to do, because I was hearing horn parts too, and I had like this huge idea to have like a four horns and like this whole thing, and I'm like, okay, all right, maybe I gotta scale down the level of, you know, instrumentation a little bit if I want to finish it this year. So
The next album.
oh yeah.
She actually has to sing in the next album.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. So I'm rapping. I discovered that I could rap about 3 months ago. So you will also hear me on the album. I'm actually talking, spoken word, rapping, if you will. And I discovered that I could do that just out of like necessity. I'm like, man, someone needs to do this. And I started writing lyrics. I'm like, just let me try it. And I was like, oh, wow, that actually sounds pretty good.
Oh.
So my friend Sarah, the singer, she's like, she let her daughter listen to it. I don't know if you guys know who Kanye West is. She's like, her daughter thought it was Kanye.
Wow.
Wow.
Congrats.
There you
That's
go.
pretty good.
That's like a really good compliment.
It is.
And another funny thing. So my husband gets to listen to the creativity process for all these songs that I'm writing, right? And so I'm like humming a song, and he comes over. He's like, "Is that one of the songs you wrote?" And I'm like, "No, that's Beyonce's song." But my songs are good enough. Do you think that my songs are? So it's been fun. It's been a process for sure, and I'm kind of just really looking forward to having it done, having it out, and I'm working on lots of videos for it, lots of promo for it. I'm having shirts made. I'm having lots of stuff happening because I just have so much passion and belief in this whole thing that I'm working on and creating. I'm like just trying to just throw anything I can. I'm like, yeah, sure, we need shirts. All right, cool. We need to have actual CDs. Let's do it. Like everything. So I've been doing animations for some of the songs, like just everything I can think of to kind of push it and promote it. So
How many hours does your day have?
sorry.
How many hours does your day have?
Yeah, I will say I spend probably 5 or 6 hours at night, like when everyone is sleeping. I have to go in my studio and, you know, and that's why it's good. I have electronic SPD30 Roland electric pads, but that's been a lot of how I've been able to actually do this, is spending a lot of time at night, sacrificing my sleep. So maybe I'm sleeping 3 or 4 hours.
Oh.
Hey.
No.
Kira started just listening to that now.
So yeah, I had good training though when Julian, my son, was first born. Whew, I wasn't. My husband was getting sleep because he had to go to work in the morning, but I was not sleeping at all. So, yeah.
Rough. I know it. I know it. Coffee is your friend. Oh, I want to just talk a little bit about your social media and just say congrats, because you've got a really great following.
Oh, thanks.
And I wondered, when did you like realize that you kind of mastered, or beginning to like really master this area? Was there like a particular moment? Was that one of your like goals, or is it just a byproduct of the others?
Oh, that's a great question. I will start by saying I studied digital media and web technology in school, in college. So after I got out of the military, I went and studied, social media and digital design and how to kind of, interact with people through social media. And so that kind of gave me the confidence to really, I guess, kind of put my stuff out there. And after I graduated college, after I graduated college in 2018, I launched AKHAMiE Music, which is now it's a business, essentially. It's a music business. But all that stuff, my website, my social media, I just knew that I had to kind of, focus in on it. Like, that's where my audience was going to come from. That's where potential customers, students, people to buy merchandise or whatever, like that's where that was going to come from. So I just I remember watching YouTube videos on how to grow your Instagram, how to grow your Facebook, how to grow your YouTube video, your YouTube channel. And so I definitely intentionally spent time and money investing in how to do it. For example, just last year, beginning of this year, YouTube was kind of one of my goals, being able to monetize on YouTube. Like, I'm very close to that, but I actually bought a masterclass on how to properly navigate YouTube. And the guy that I found, he's a basketball. His YouTube is all about basketball. It's called like I Love Basketball or something, but he has like 2 million subscribers. And I'm like, okay. So I didn't finish this masterclass, but it just taught me, like, okay, your website, if you drive people to your website, what are you going to offer them, like, immediately when they go there? So he talks about that. He talks about how you need to set up your YouTube channel. A lot of people have been talking about you need to be posting a video once a week on YouTube. I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm not even doing that. But like, just little things like that kind of, just kind of helped me understand the importance and the direction I wanted to go in. As far as Instagram for me took off in 2000. I was living in Texas, so maybe 3 years ago. I was about to graduate, 2017. So I was in my garage, and I had kind of a set that looked like this. I had like 2 electronic pads, because my husband and I, we were just like in a tiny studio apartment. I had no room for my drums. So I had no room to set up a kick drum. And I was like, I just need to find something to keep time, like a metronome, and then I need to be able to play. And I remember I just plugged my phone in and, recorded what I did, posted it super late. And I woke up and like 10,000 people had seen it. And I was like, what? And I was just like, wow, like a lot of positive. And I was like falling in love with what I was creating, and this like different like sound that was kind of developing out of just a little bit of percussion and like electronic pads that I was using. And that's really when I started to dig in on my particular sound, and I just started sharing that. And that, from that point on, my Instagram and my social media has been growing like crazy. So that's kind of the story behind it.
That's great.
Do you have a particular style of drumming that you prefer? It's your go-to style?
So my recently, or I guess I would say within the last 4 years, when my style kind of had to change or started to change, it was kind of being based around like a Latin salsa, and then like an Afro-Cuban, and like Afro beat type of music. So studying the 3/2 clave, the 2/3 clave, and then trying to incorporate that in my playing and mixing in like different like funk grooves or like polyrhythms, like playing something in 7, but then playing like sneaking in a 4 under it, like that. Maybe I'm doing 4 on the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While the 4 is under it. So that's one of the things I'm actually working on right now, and I plan to put on my album. Like I've been exploring that, and it's something I've been playing for a while, but I'm trying to put it into a form. But just stuff like that has really helped me kind of find my style. As far as the genre of music, I would say it's more Latin African based. Last year I went on tour with Latin Grammy winner Boyka. She's from Spain, Mallorca, Spain, and so they saw my stuff. They saw myself on Instagram, and they were like trying to put together an all-girl group, and they were like, "We're gonna start with you as the foundation, as the drummer, and everyone else is gonna be based around you." And it was very cool. We traveled all over Israel, Spain, Morocco, and my son was 2 months at that time.
Wow.
And I went on a world tour. So I'm like at the airport with my breast pump and my cooler for milk, and I'm like, I don't care. He's gonna have
a pair
milk,
of sticks.
all of it. I don't care. We're gonna make it happen. So it was a world tour, but it was like 4 or 5 days max that I would be gone. Even if I had to go all the way to like Israel. We went to Israel, and they had us on stage playing. Next thing you know, we're on a bus heading to the airport. Just as fast of a turnaround as possible. So that was really good. And that was the only way I would have really done it, because I didn't want to be gone for weeks. Like you can't, I didn't want to do that, So it was probably the best case scenario that could have happened to be able to do that tour. That's what happened. So
nice.
That's great. That's how it should be, I think. If they wanted you, they're gonna make it work,
For sure. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, I don't know if you guys have seen this. It was on Drumeo yesterday. Sarah Thawa, I think that's her last name.
Seen it.
And she just does this really cool bit, just saying elephant in the drumming community is that, discrimination against female drummers and ethnicity, and it needs to stop. And I just thought, yeah, man, she delivered it really well. And I was just wondering, when I see your Instagram and you've got your son, Julian, with you, I just think it's the most adorable, lovely thing, because it's like he can drum too, and you're connecting, and it's just awesome. I just wondered if you've had any bad judgment or any bad feedback, and how you handle people who are basically ignorant.
Oh, yeah. So these are all really great questions. For the most part, my experiences have been pretty positive, but every once in a while, you'll have some knucklehead that says something, or, so for me, it was on TikTok. Like I recently started getting into TikTok probably 4 or 5 months ago. I posted a video it was me, my son, and my husband. So we're an interracial couple. We have a mixed, we have a mixed kid. And I get a message that's like, you're a traitor or something like that. And I was just, I was just like, don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm like, dude, it's fine. You know, there's someone out there for you too. Like, it's not me. There's someone for you. Just, you know, you know, so it's just, you know, I try to think about it from like, not that it's something like an attack against me. Like, where is this? Why did this person come to this conclusion that they need to say something to me to try to make me feel bad? Like, it's obviously, it's not me, it's them that, you know, that's coming from them. So that's kind of been my approach. And for the most part, like, I haven't had too many run-ins. And, but I mean, I like, you know, growing up as a female drummer, of course, you know, there's that whole like, oh, are you sure you can hold that snare drum? Are you sure you can? Are you sure you're the drummer? Like, you know, just little stuff, little things like that like I didn't really understand at first. I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, until I got older and I'm like, oh wow, this is a male dominant. This is kind of like a guy instrument, you know. The majority of people that play drums are guys, and it's almost assumed that if someone is a drummer, that they're a guy. So yeah, it hasn't been too bad. I haven't heard or haven't had too much negativity, but that's also probably just because I'm super positive and I'm giving off that positive energy. So like, even if someone says something that's probably negative, I would probably find a way to be like, oh, they probably, you know. So yeah, but yeah, not. It's been a really great journey so far, and being able to include Julian in the music, and if anything, a lot of people have messaged me like, oh my gosh, you inspired me to, you know, include my son or include my daughter in playing music and stuff like that. So, but I know it is out there, and it is unfortunate for, you know, that it's something we still have to deal with, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's just going to be like lots and lots of kind of talking about it, like Sarah Thauer did, you know, kind of bringing it to the forefront and not just kind of putting it back there. And so yeah, and I think there's a lot of cool programs out there too, like the one the girl competition, the drumming competition, what is
Hit
it
it
called?
like a girl.
Hit it like a girl, yeah, like things like that really help kind of inspire and motivate girls to, you know, go ahead, you know, you can play drums
And it's
too.
for all ages, you know, because
Yeah.
there's a friend of mine that she won the over 40 category. So,
Oh, nice,
you know,
sweet. Yeah, I did it a couple of years ago. I was pregnant and I did it, and they were just like, this is the first time we've ever had a pregnant drummer doing this.
nice.
It was kind of cool. It was a good experience, and yeah, just since then everything's just kind of been falling into place. Really, it's just kind of just me setting my intentions, my mind on my goals. That's really how this stuff has been able to manifest. Like the whole thing with Tama, the album, the tour, even the tour. Like that was a difficult time. I guess I could talk about that if you want to talk about like they cut me after they found out I was pregnant. They were just like, well, we can't take you on tour. And I was like, you know, man. But I just, in my mind, I said, this is my gig. Like, this is my gig. No one's taking this gig from me. Like, this is my gig. And they wind up coming back and being like, hey, you've been resting for 2 months. How are you feeling? Do you want to finish out the tour? But initially, they were just like, we can't have you, you know, going to France and you're like 7 months pregnant. And I was like, you know, like I understand, but it's like I feel like I should have been the one.
Yeah.
Like maybe I wanted to have my son in France. Like,
why
you know?
not?
But I do know airlines. That was another thing. Airlines, they do have cutoffs. Like they don't let you fly after a certain point. So yeah, but it was a little bit tough, you know. And then you think of like, you know, like, man, guys don't have to deal with this, you know, like like why isn't this something that's better? Like why now is like why is it now that it's like a big thing? Like, why haven't we figured this out?
I agree. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, just this is not a new thing. People having children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been happening for quite some time now.
They have it in like the office normal jobs, like
Yeah.
you know, maternity or you know, some system. So I think again, the more we talk about it, maybe you know, people will be like, oh yeah, yes, we should probably think about that, or you know, take care of people you're working with.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I could tell they had no idea how to deal with it, and it was kind of, you know, but like I said, I had held on to the thought of this is going to happen, and so I was like always checking my email, like, all right, they haven't emailed me yet, and they a week before they were supposed to go to Spain, or Portugal, they emailed me and said, hey, something happened with our drummer that we had filling in for you. It's not working out. Like, would you be interested in coming back? And I was like, I wanted to say yes immediately, but I had a brand new newborn son. So I had to think about all the logistics of that. Like, can I actually do this? Okay. Okay. He has a freezer full of milk. Check. Okay. It was just so happened that my husband's grandmother was here. And I was like, do you mind if you stay an extra few days? And she was like, sure. I was like, okay, so we don't have to put him in no daycares. Like, I didn't want to have him in daycare or anything, that being that young. So it really worked out. Every time it worked out where we were able to have him with family and there was enough milk. So
Cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Excellent. Kira, we have 2 minutes.
Okay. I know we haven't asked our question today.
I know. I was surprised.
Do we want to do it, or I just
No,
feel
that's
like...
your question. You do it.
Okay. I don't know why it's mine, but
Because you started it. It's yours.
okay. What is missing from drum education today?
Wow. I have to go back and think. Well, there's so much stuff available on YouTube and Drumeo and all these things. So that's a difficult question. What is missing in drumming today?
Yeah, drum education.
Drum education. I would say, I think notation, reading music, there should be more stress put behind that for drummers, especially. I run into so many kid drummers, students, and I'm like, all right, let's go over some notation, or let's practice how to do some sight reading, and like it's just kind of they're not interested or they don't want to. But I'm like, this is important. Like, this is how you like learn how to actually write your language that you're trying to speak. So I would say, sorry about the plane. There's a plane flying over, or a helicopter.
That's okay. It's not that loud.
I would say music notation and writing music should be, especially for education, drumming education. That's very important. That was the only way I was able to get into the military band and a lot of the opportunities I've had. And even if I don't have to read music, being able to quickly write a chart, and so I don't have to sit and try to memorize everything. I can take notes on form. Okay, we got an 8-bar backbeat, do a fill, going into the next section. Like, stuff like that has really been helpful. And I think that's kind of missing, even for all ages. I run into drummers that are like 20, 30, 40 plus, and they don't really know how to read music. So, yeah.
Great.
All righty. Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, CAMi. Everybody, check CAMi, AKHAMiE, KIES out. We're going to put all of your details below.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
We're going to put all your links to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, your address, everything.
Oh, wow.
No.
That's great. Sounds
Cool.
great.
Thank you.